Hey there, it is Angela here. Welcome to Chatty Walks with Angela. I am walking around Trinity Buoy Wharf today, which Fred Stam suggested I record a video at years ago. I've only just made it here. It's lovely. So we're in the heart of the old Docklands. We've got the O2 Arena over there. There were people climbing up it earlier when we were here. And we have Canary Wharf right ahead of us over there. And we arrived via Canning Town Station. I am here with dedicated helper today.
Hey there.
And he is doing some filming of his own actually, aren't you?
I am indeed, yes.
He's giving it a go. Yep, he's following in his mother's footsteps and setting up a far better channel.
I'm having a lot of fun with it, I must say. It's so much fun.
It is. And you can see we've got the, I actually don't know what that's called, but I want to go on it. That thing that crosses the Thames. I do hope we get to go on that soon. See if I'm allowed to record a video. We will get on to Michael Faraday and that lighthouse soon. But you know, we're not going to do that first. We're going to go around in a little circle. We are looking at, just show you that yellow one again, container cities. They're an innovative use, as I think you can tell what, old shipping containers. And it's the irony of the fact that large shipping containers actually destroyed the economy of this part of Docklands, and it became derelict more or less after the 1970s and here through to the 1990s. And so there's a certain irony about the fact that this area has now used those same containers to provide a home for the arts, the creatives and people that work on the river as well. This is Container City 1, the original one, completed in 5 months in 2001. So this building was initially 3 stories high, providing 12 work studios across 446 metres square. A 4th floor was added in 2003 to accommodate 3 more living and working apartments. I'm just going to give you a little view backwards. And everywhere you look you can kind of see the O2 poking through. I've noticed it says English National Opera here. There's quite a lot of sun today. We're sort of in the middle of, we've had sort of a very dry, cold period of weather. So lots of good sunshine. So Container City trademark, the system uses or reuses shipping containers linked together. There's a plane overhead. We are right next to City Airport here, in case you can't tell. So these provide high strength, see if we can catch the plane, or not actually catch it. You know, I'm not going to leap on it because it's just coming in, there you go, just coming into land. Prefabricated steel modules that can be combined to create a wide variety of building shapes and can be adapted to suit most planning or end user needs. A wonderful thing about this area are all these little sculptures that are all over the place. I mean, I've taken so many photos today. We had a wander around first and it's outstanding. It's really lovely. And this building here, I think, this is Container City 2, probably the most photographed container building in the world. Easily recognisable by its bright colours, designed to reflect the creative nature of those who occupy its 22 studios. Completed in 2002, this one. Now we're at the back end of the Chain and Buoy store, which is not actually open to the public. It's a sort of private event space. Again, with this beautiful sort of series of sculptures just hanging around. If you've got an event, or if you're a Virgin, for example, you're sort of wanting to run a campaign or something, then you can go in there for your little events. But as members of the public, we can't. There's another one here. I don't know what the names are for all of these. There are so many of them. There's another one here. Get to the front of this one, then we can get a panorama. This is Clipper House that we're looking at here. Now, in 2012, the London Organising Committee of the Olympic and Paralympic Games needed a broadcasting studio on the Olympic site in Stratford, and commissioned Container City to design and build it. It stood 9 stories high and was at the time the tallest shipping container building in the world. Now, why am I telling you about that, given we're in Docklands at Trinity Buoy Wharf? Well, this is it. It was dismantled after the Olympics, and the containers used to build Clipper House here at Trinity Buoy Wharf. Home to Uber boats, by the way, Thames Clipper. So let's just give you that panorama back there. And here, if you have a look now, you can see we've got lots of information about Michael Faraday, and about London's only lighthouse, which I'm going to go and show you in a minute. We can't go inside, but this tells you lots of history. That this was built to aid navigation on the Thames, but was an experimental lighthouse. So we've got some then and now pictures here. We've got a very cute little dog coming through. We've met a lot of cute dogs here this morning. Oh, bless her. I've got a soft spot for whippets. There's Michael Faraday. Trinity Buoy Wharf history. I'll tell you a little bit about that. I don't like to tell you too much here. It's just so lovely. I don't feel the need to keep telling you stuff. I think this is the old electrician's house, electrical engineer, something like this. There's a sign. Let me just have a look. Electrical shop, the old electrical shop. It tells us there. You can just see more buildings down there. So you can see a lot of this is maintained, the old Victorian brickwork. Loads of just fascinating bits and pieces every single corner that you walk. So you've got Boilermaker's House, Container City 1 and 2, Electrician Shop, which we were just at, Fitting Shop, Jubilee Pier, Music Boxes, Proving House, Riverside Building. So we're going to be heading back that way. Just going to show you this here. So we've got this rather iconic London taxi on the roof. That is the Orchard Cafe. We didn't go in there, did we?
We did
No,
not.
we did not. Where did we go?
We went to, is it Fat Boy's Diner, I think?
Fat Boy's Diner, and I'm going to tell you some history of Fat Boy's Diner. I popped it on my Instagram and the community tab, so I was actually quite excited to be there. Really, really historic.
I might do one more piece of filming there if we get time later.
You fancy that, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just showing you the outside the main stores from 1950, and you can see we've got some more little artists' sculpture type things there. We've got the Orchard Cafe. As I said, we did not go in there. We went to Fat Boy's Diner. Yes, we did. There was no way I was going to come here and not go to Fat Boy's Diner. Bless him, the guy running it now only took it over relatively recently. He was very, very welcoming, I have to say. Here we have Lightship 95 studio entrance. There were a lot of people outside of here earlier. So let's grab an up and down shot of that. It's a lovely clear day today. A slight breeze, but not enough to bother us. I'm just going to give you a shot in that direction. So obviously deep in London Docklands, massive redevelopment area, and I think that's the river there that meets the Thames, the River Lee. I can really recommend this area if you're up for this sort of thing. Oh, it's lovely, really lovely. Let's head back this way. I'll give you a bit of history. As I said, at the Watery Trunk Junction the River Lee meets the River Thames. And this is London's only lighthouse that's here. Over the centuries, as you can imagine, with the River Thames being such a hub of shipping activity, hundreds of vessels have been wrecked in the Thames estuary. The lighthouse, which we're about to get a sight of, there it is. The lighthouse isn't built to guide river traffic. It was an experimental venture employed for the development of new electric lighting technology. There is another plane. Will we get it? Will we get it? It's quite small actually, that one. It's quite dinky. Anyway. So it was to develop new electrical lighting technology, and the pioneering scientist Michael Faraday was in charge. He was employed by the government to improve the safety of British waters. And obviously, you know, lighthouses, good way to do that. Now this wharf sort of has its history, just got some doors along here, along Clipper House. And another sculpture, I think you can just catch that there. So I'm just showing you what's going on in Clipper House. And we are outside Fat Boy's Diner, where we had a rather nice meal. It was a snack, it was from their sort of snacky menu. Sort of macaroni cheese balls, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I had. Yeah.
And mine was like marinated in ginger and chili, plantains, cashew nuts, things like that.
And that was very nice as well.
It was really nice. Now, as we're here, I'll scroll through my notes to information about Fat Boy's Diner. So, it was built in the mid-50s, 56, 57. And I know we are at the Lighthouse, and I should be telling you about that. But I was quite excited to be at Fat Boy's Diner. So this was built mid-1950s, Worcester, or would they say in America, Worcester, Massachusetts, where it opened in Georgetown to become Randy's Roast Beef. I think it was the Georgetown Diner before that. It's an original American diner bought in 1989 by a guy called John Keith. And he used to go around doing up, sort of buying up and doing up old, and just giving you a view through old American diners. Anyway, it ended up in London, bought by the Fat Boys Diner chain, and this is the only one that's left now. It arrived here in 2003, very popular for filming and photography. While we were sitting in there actually having our meal, a guy was sitting at the counter saying, "Wasn't Sliding Doors filmed in here?" It's like, yes, Sliding Doors was filmed in here. Bastille, I don't know if you know the band Bastille, love Bastille. They did their Bad Decisions video here. Amy Winehouse, she was photographed in there just before her career went stratospheric. I'm talking about Fat Boy's Diner rather than the Lighthouse. And little celebs like Emma Willis did her sort of, one of her spreads of this is my life type of thing. So I am now looking at the Lighthouse. It's about time. And famously, the Longplayer is playing in here, has been playing in this building since January 2000. Playing continuously for 1,000 years, I believe. I think music's being added to it as well. We were just outside the story box, so we've got little running videos of activities that have happened here. So, let's get back to Mr. Faraday, shall we? Oops, fell off the pavement. Anyway, so this is the Faraday Effect little shed. I haven't actually looked in here. If there's somebody in there, I apologise. Let's have a look. Oh, it's like a little museum. I didn't actually see this. Let's have a look in here. Wow, the Faraday Effect. Faraday carried out an experiment to see how light reacted when passing close to a magnet. He placed a piece of heavy glass on the poles of a powerful electromagnet and found that when he turned the magnet on, the state of polarization of the light had changed. I did not know this was here. The Chemical History of a Candle, Childhood Philosophical Miscellany. Lovely. Pop in there when you're here. Sorry, I didn't see that before. So this would have been a very busy place when Mr. Faraday was doing his work here. Just take you over here. There would have been dockers and sailors, and the river would have stunk. It was the height of the British Empire. Steam power was powering through. Trinity Buoy Wharf found itself at the end of many of these shipping routes at the Port of London. As I said, the River Thames absolutely stunk. I think Michael Faraday himself called it a fermenting sewer. So the docks were absolutely full of vessels. Here's the River Lee. It was a really dangerous place. Ships often collided with each other. Men fell overboard. But the water was so polluted it wasn't drowning that was the risk. It was actually poisoning. And they were unlikely to get to dry land safely. Now we've got the sun right in the camera here, so let's just come the other side. See if you can pick up these shades. Isn't it lovely? Got a little mooring thing here. Reminds me of Canada water when I filmed there. I absolutely love Docklands. I love a good regeneration. Aluna time at Trinity Buoy Wharf, London's first public moon and tide clock. Fascinating. Tidal sonification. The Floodtide listening post makes music determined by the tide of the Thames. Excellent. I'm learning so much. It isn't in my notes, by the way. Bad research. Bad. You can just catch more of the containers in the background there, and the lighthouse. So here would be the sonification, no, not the sonification, the Aluna time. There we are. The brick buildings are heritage structures, actually, that were built by and for Trinity House. Now, Trinity House, technically in old terms, the corporation of Trinity House was originally a voluntary association of shipmen and mariners, granted a charter by Henry VIII in 1514. Oh yes, Henry VIII, he's at it again, shaping London. And it was called the Guild or Fraternity of the Most Glorious and Undividable Trinity of St. Clement. I wonder if that's the St. Clement that's around Fleet Street, receiving its coat of arms in 1573. It had the authority to erect and maintain beacons, marks and signs of the sea for the better navigation of the coasts of England. And it has since been responsible for buoys, lighthouses and lightships, and pioneering the techniques involved, which is where this experimental lighthouse comes in. It is iconic, London's only remaining example, built in 1864. Wasn't used to aid navigation, but to experiment and develop lighting equipment for the Trinity House network. So they developed and tested maritime lighting equipment in the early days of electricity. The lights were shone across the Thames. I'm looking across the Thames to Shooters Hill, where observations were taken and their performance was measured. In the early to mid-20th century, the lighthouse was also used to train lighthouse keepers. As I said, Michael Faraday was your guy, developing the lens used in maritime lighting and inventing a chimney that solved the problem of condensation from oil lamps, because that used to reduce the light they produce. I'm showing you a boat. Now, why am I showing you a boat? And this sort of hangy thing. It actually smells. It smells like fishy here actually. Oh yes, you've got like these mossy steps as well. Or seaweedy steps. I definitely wouldn't be going down there because I would slide and hurt myself. So why am I showing you this? This is Knocker White. Built in 1924, Knocker White is a Dutch-built tugboat, currently preserved as a museum ship right here. It was going to be scrapped, but the Museum of London recognised it as a classic example of an early tall-funnelled Thames steam tug. Acquired by the Museum of London 85, and 2016 it came here to Trinity Buoy Wharf. A nice spot for it. So, this is the chain store straight ahead of us. I've been showing you the lighthouse, but I haven't told you this is the chain store. The building adjoining this lighthouse is the former chain and buoy store. I wonder if the clue's in the name. The largest surviving Victorian structure at Trinity Buoy Wharf. It was erected in 1864, designed by Sir James Douglas. It originally stored iron mooring chains for buoys and lightships, as well as large iron buoys. The roof has a specially strengthened floor, put in at the request of Michael Faraday to take the weight of his experimental equipment. Now these big doors in the middle, they were actually originally railway tracks, and they were laid down to facilitate the movement of buoys and chains around the wharf, and they went straight through the middle of the building. It is now reborn as an event space for receptions, parties, musical and theatrical events, product launches, arts exhibitions. And there we have it. That's kind of what I wanted to show you around here. Kind of finishing up where we started. Just show you back over to the O2 and this little cutie pie lighthouse. When I was checking things out doing my recce, I didn't go through here. Shall I see if I can go through here? If I can't, I'm going to say goodbye now. Bye bye. Hope you enjoyed the walk, and I will see you next time. But let's go through here just in case. Right, we popped out the other side. We were just over there. Because there's roof fixing work going on, we couldn't come straight through, so we popped along. So it's the same view, just from a slightly different angle. We're going to come through here to get more kind of nice stuff. There is a guy doing some work that's a bit noisy. Let's just go down these steps. So this is the old proving house, 1870. Please put in comments what the proving house did, because actually I don't know. You've got a few more containers parked up through the back of here, and this guy's working on them. And then you've got all sorts of, that's an Arts Council thing there. Melner Limited, bespoke joinery, and all sorts. Right, I've backed up a bit, partly because that guy's very noisy. But look at all these little things along here. And you've still got the view of the O2 straight through there. But all these odd little assorted items. Fascinating. So much good stuff around here. Okay, so that's a sculptor's place. The great goddess slaying the buffalo demon. Okay, just going to show you up there now, where we just were. Fine art studio. It's absolutely fascinating. Every corner you turn around here, you just find something new. Should also point out Trinity Buoy Wharf's been very, very popular as a filming location. James Bond, The World Is Not Enough. Just about the whole of Docklands seems to be the part of James Bond, The World Is Not Enough. Rogue Agent, don't know if you've seen that, with incredibly handsome James Norton in it. Of course, now very famous for Happy Valley. Although I've only just started watching Happy Valley, so I only know him as Grant Chester, which is a very different role indeed. Spooks being filmed around here, Waking the Dead, Ashes to Ashes, and if we move away from the theme of spies, agents and the constabulary, the Great British Sewing Bee has also been filmed here. Now, as I creep amongst various containers and yet more little sculptures, I think I'll sign off here. And I've really hope you've enjoyed this lovely little wander around Trinity Buoy Wharf. Thanks again, Fred Stam, for recommending it. It's been an absolute joy to be here. Really enjoyed it. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.